Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down the source material behind a pretty popular idea, the acid-alkaline diet.
You know those days when you just feel off? Tired, maybe a little irritable, can't seem to get warm? Well, our source material for today suggests that these feelings might be linked to a hidden imbalance deep inside your body, something that could be affecting how you feel every single day.
So the whole idea at the heart of this is the body's acid-alkaline balance. Think of it like a delicate dance between two opposing forces. And to stay healthy, our bodies need to keep them in just the right proportion.
Okay, so first up, let's talk about acids. I mean, think about that sharp, sour pucker you get from a lemon, right? Or how vinegar can just eat away at mineral deposits. That's kind of their thing. Our source material really focuses on this harsh, corrosive quality. And on the flip side, you've got alkaline substances. These are described as being, well, gentle. They don't have those corrosive properties. The book gives an example of how a little milk can soothe an upset, acidic stomach. It's all about neutralizing that harshness.
And here's where it gets incredibly specific. According to the source, our bodies run best when our blood is at a pH of exactly 7.39. I mean, that's not a lot of wiggle room. It means our sweet spot is actually just slightly alkaline.
So that begs a really important question. What happens when that super delicate balance gets thrown off? How does the body protect itself from too much acid, which, our source claims, is a pretty common problem in our modern lives?
Well, your body has this amazing defense mechanism called the buffer system. To keep that blood pH rock solid, it has to neutralize any extra acid. And how does it do that? It borrows alkaline minerals like calcium and magnesium from other parts of your body, like your bones, your teeth, your skin. It's basically making a forced withdrawal from your body's mineral bank account.
And this is the really critical part from the source material. These minerals aren't just spare parts sitting around. The body isn't dipping into some rainy day fund. No, it's actively pulling components from its own functioning tissues. It's sacrificing parts of itself to keep the blood stable, no matter what. So what happens when this borrowing happens over and over and over again? The result is what the source calls demineralization, and it links this process to a whole list of problems, from brittle bones and teeth to noticeable changes in your hair, nails, and even your skin. It's the long-term price the body pays for that constant balancing act.
Okay, so what's causing all this imbalance to begin with? Where's the acid coming from? Well, the source points its finger at one main culprit, our diet.
To help us understand how to eat for that equilibrium, the book lays out a really simple framework. The idea is that every single food we eat falls into one of three groups, based on what it does inside our body after we've digested it.
Here's how the source breaks it down. On one side, you have your alkalizing foods, things like most veggies, potatoes, and almonds. In the middle, you have acidifying foods, like meat, grains, and sugar. But then, there's this really interesting third category called weak acid foods. Now, that third group, the one with things like fruits and yogurt, is where it gets a little tricky. The source says their effect completely depends on the person. For someone with a strong system, they actually become alkaline. But for someone whose system is already a bit stressed out, what the source calls a metabolic weakness, the body struggles to process them, and they end up just adding to the acid problem. So that's the theory, but what does this all actually look like on a plate? Let's do a little meal makeover and check out some really common meals.
Okay, here's a breakfast that might look pretty familiar. According to the source, this is a highly acidifying combo. You've got the coffee, the refined grains in the pastry, and a big hit of acid-forming sugar in both the coffee and the jam.
But here's the alternative the source suggests. It's all about simple swaps. Maybe switch the coffee for herbal tea, and then build your meal around foods that are clearly alkalizing, like bananas and almonds. You still get energy, but without that acid load.
All right, on to lunch. A meal like this, red meat, pasta with tomato sauce, a sugary dessert, and more coffee, is presented as another big hit of acid. The book really highlights that pasta and tomato sauce combination as being a particularly acidic duo.
So what's the fix? Well, according to the book, it's about a few key adjustments. Maybe go for a less acidifying protein like white meat. Swap out that pasta for potatoes, and this is the most important part. Make sure that alkalizing vegetables are the biggest thing on your plate.
So, after going through all of this, what's the big takeaway? What's the one thing we really need to remember from all this?
You know, the core message here isn't about completely eliminating entire food groups. It's not about perfection, it's simply about proportion. The main idea is to just try to make sure that the alkalizing foods on your plate consistently outweigh the acidifying ones, meal after meal. It's about supporting your body's natural state.
And that really leaves us with a final question, one that comes right from the logic of our source material. The next time you look down at your plate, just ask yourself, is this meal helping to build my body up, or is it forcing my body to break itself down just to keep things in balance?